What's up, guys? How are y'all doing out there? I am Dr. Lewis, your profitable speaking coach. And today I want to talk to you about building a brand as a speaker. So when you come into the room, say hello when you come into the room. I'd love to see where are you watching from? Where are you watching from? So I've been speaking for just over 10 years and I love speaking. I've done just over 1,000 speaking engagements. I've spoken all around the country in over 30 states. And I want to give you some of the game in terms of things that I've learned in this journey of establishing myself as a speaker. So, one thing that you want to keep in mind is you want to keep in mind your brand messaging. So, if you guys can start with just put in the comments, what do you like to speak about? What do you like to speak about? Last week in our CEO coaching session last week, we talked about choosing a niche. Today, let's talk about your brand messaging because that's a really important part of building a brand as a speaker. So for me, part of my brand messaging is really a focus on building profitability as a speaker. I really focus my brand messaging on how you can make money as a speaker. So, what's some of your brand messaging? Your brand messaging can include things like the problems that you solve. Your brand messaging can include things like who you like to work with. For me, a lot of the work that I do is with purpose-driven entrepreneurs, people who want to speak about things that are meaningful, things um, that they're passionate about. So those are some of the things that's some of the audience that I work with. Someone says they speak on mental health issues. Excellent. So that's going to be a part of your brand messaging. So when you are thinking about, okay, I want to establish myself as a speaker, first think about what is my brand message? What's the problem that I solve in the marketplace? So, for example, one problem that you may solve in the marketplace for the person who says they speak on mental health issues is I teach anxious adolescents how they can reduce their stress by practicing 3 signature coping strategies that I developed. So that's an example of brand messaging. All right. Now, the next thing that you want to think about in building a speaker brand is you want to think about your brand assets. So type in the comments what comes to mind when you think about brand assets. When I first got started speaking, that was in 2012, 2000, a little bit before 2012. I played around with speaking for a little bit. Now we go together, we married, but I played around with it for a little bit before 2012 and just doing a lot of like free speaking engagements. So in that early stage of establishing my brand as a speaker, I got professional headshots. Somebody write down in the comments professional headshots. So this is really important as a speaker because a lot of times when people ask you to speak, they want to be able to see a professional headshot so they can put you on the flyer, so they can put you on the website. So having a professional headshot is going to be crucially important. If you already have professional headshots, then go ahead and put a 1 in the comments for me. If you don't have one, then put a 2 in the comments. If you have one, put a 1 in the comments. If you don't, then put a 2 in the comments. So just a little tip for the people who are just getting started is when I first got started with speaking, I didn't have much money. So I was like, how can I do this on a minimum budget? So I ended up finding a Groupon. Shout out to Groupon at that time. It was a lifesaver. So I paid like $10. I did a 2-hour photo shoot, outfit changes, all of that. All for $10. Now I rolled that headshot out for a long time. I used that headshot on my speaker website, on my whenever I was asked to speak, my social media headshot, like I use that Groupon $10 headshot for everything, y'all. And so then I was like, okay, now I do photo shoots like every quarter. I'll do a new photo shoot just to make sure that we have great graphics for our social media, for my speaker sheet, my images is updated. And so now we do it quarterly, but it started out with me going to Groupon and getting a $10 headshot. Shout out to Groupon. Um, so that's one part of building your brand as a speaker. Now, another thing that you want to consider is having a speaker website. Now, you can have a speaker website that is just for you as a speaker, or for some people, they may have a page on their regular website that's for speaking. The other thing that, now this is once I started kind of really getting into speaking like more professionally, not just as a hobby, I got a speaker reel done. Now looking back on it, I recommend for people to get a speaker reel done really early into speaking, especially like when you want to get paid to speak. Now, just a little trick on how you can get your speaker reel done for low cost. I negotiated it in my contract. So if it was a situation where I was waiving my fee, or I was speaking for less than my standard fee, I would negotiate it in my contract of like, hey, are you recording this? If you are recording it, can I get a professionally edited video for my segment with speaking? Now what we do is, we in my company, we will hire professional videographers to get constantly updated video of me speaking. But in the early stages, I would just negotiate it in my contract, or in some cases, I would get like a tripod and record it. Now, it's not what I recommend for you guys. I told you it took me some time to establish my brand as a speaker. I would do that early on. But when I was just getting started, it was like, budget. What is that? It wasn't a budget for that or many other things. So just in speaking for over 10 years now professionally, to with having done thousands of speaking engagements now, it's things that I've learned like later that have made it much more easier getting booked. This is one of those things. So I would say definitely that's a writer downer. Now I have a speaker sheet. That's a part of building your brand as a speaker, getting a speaker sheet done. And this is just like a bio, your headshot, video of you speaking, and some testimonials along with your signature topic. So we're going to be talking about all about this and more at our upcoming Paid to Speak intensive. I know for some people, they're like, man, like I keep having a goal to speak, but I haven't actually done it. If that's something that you want to learn from someone who has done it successfully, then you need to be at the Paid to Speak intensive. Well, have an amazing rest of the day. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask inside the group. All right. Bye for now.